Hi everyone, welcome back to ITOM batch 5 day 20. How are you doing guys today? How was your weekend?
Great, Ajay. How about yourself?
I'm also doing good, thank you. Okay, so I think let's get started guys. As you remember last Friday we are working on the pattern for application specific pattern where we're designing the complete custom pattern and we started to design or configure the custom pattern. So I have given you one task where you have to check the operations, what operations is useful for what type of scenario. Has anyone tried on that one?
Actually, yeah,
Oh,
Jay. What I did is I went to the out of the box patterns available, and I saw what for the identification, what are the patterns used and what are the purposes for, like set parameter, parse value, and basic things I was able to see. But majority of the things it was very complicated for me to understand. Like at least some things I was able to understand, but majority of the things it was not that easy to understand.
okay. Thing is only we just need to let me quickly share my screen and let's get started that one. So thing is only, we need to understand which pattern have what type of operations use. Example, as you mentioned, I have also, doing the same things whenever I'm going to do anything. Like, example, let me open this one and let me open with any specific application pattern. One moment. Okay. Example, DB2 on Linux database. Where there is one database DB2 which is on Linux, right? If I go to this one, okay, there are a couple of different type of, identification section configured. And if I'm not wrong, that's configured based on OS, like, identification DB2 on ZOS, lightweight identification for DB2, identification DB2 on UDB entry point, or identification entry point for UDB entry point type.s, right? So, but this is just an identification sections, how we are going to identify our applications should be on that particular machine. And as I mentioned, this particular DB2 will be applicable for servers. So, particular Linux servers have selected there like HPX, Unix, Linux, AIX, and all, right? So I think that from selected from this particular table, right? And based on that, they are finding one is connection section out of the box comes for the service mapping part. We will discuss this one later, right? I'm just opening one entry point here or identification section. See, operations which I just mentioned to you guys, like operation match. Example, the first operation is match here, where we are matching or meeting any conditions with entry point dot port is empty, and if it is condition false, do this one. Means just it's just like an if else conditions, but operation is matched, right? If I go to the next is get process, right? So how they are process getting the process, they are running putting a command here, preconditions. If entry point is empty, yes, if condition is true, then go for finding the process command line, right? So they protect this particular command line and specifying that variables in this particular, right? So and then again set parameter value. Once the result is come from that parameter which is in the last step, they are populating in the process field, right? Then get process again, pass variable here, as I mentioned already, right? If someone is give you a specific path and you have to be pass it, right, from here, whatever the output is coming, you are passing the value to this particular instance underscore dot in the instance underscore name variable, right? So that particular operations, whatever here, you will learn slowly and gradually because you have to be use those particular pattern variables basically, right? Like Or and you can also always take a reference of another patterns which is already created or configured, right? But as I mentioned to you earlier, most of the operations which is utilized here is WMI query, transform users, SNMP query, set parameter value, parse variable, parse file, parse URL, right? These are the one which is mostly going to utilize. If you see here in 10 steps, only the set parameter value, pass command output, right? And pass variable, filter table, right? So these are most of the time that we are going to utilize here. I cannot do the debug mode because I don't know that which IP that is running, right? DB2 in this particular instance, right? Otherwise, I can showcase you how the data is coming, right? So the same thing which we are going to do here in today's our pattern, right? The Intune pattern or iTune
Actually,
pattern.
Ajay,
Mhm,
sorry to stop you here. When you opened that patent, right, for the
mhm,
DB2 on Linux, uh,
mhm,
so uh, the confusion for me was how to. There were like 15, 16 steps, right? How to come
mhm,
to a conclusion like, okay, these many steps. Like, for example, for identification, we are going to identify based on the OS that we are selecting in the
mhm,
front page before going to the identification section. So after going
mhm,
to there, there are so many steps, right? How to
mhm.
okay come to a conclusion like okay, these are the steps we are going to follow. This comes after this step. That
Okay. That's our your mutual understanding. Let's take an example. I have given you a task to write a business rule to delete some record in specific tables, and after that, on the same task, I ask you whatever the record you deleted, I need a copy of that and count of it, right? What you do? First of all, you are going to be, glide record that particular table on the particular filter condition, right? After that, you are applying the delete multiple query or delete query to delete that particular record, right? And after that, you are going to be print that particular count and all, right? You are following that step. Getting my point? The same
yeah.
thing here. The same thing here. My requirement is, or the customer requirement is for an application pattern, I need name, vendor, and version. Example, right? So first
Hmm.
is how you are getting the name, vendor, and version. So let just quickly again, let me do this one. Let me get the IP. One moment. Okay, PID is also required. Let me check the PID. One moment. So I'm not remembering. I think six something. 6207 or something. Let me go one moment. The same step, 6752. Same step every time whenever we are starting with the pattern troubleshootings or any pattern configuration, make sure you are opening the pattern and going for the debug session, right? Once is debug means that you are connected to that particular machines from where you want to fetch the data. Means that same type of multiple machines will be there, right? Where that your operation, or sorry, not operation, but your application is running on that particular machine, right? And you just need to be find a simple or a one single machine on which you can utilize for debug, right? And that applies for whenever you are working on any discovery and you see pattern is failed, right? If pattern is failed means you have to go to that particular pattern only, debug mode only, and use the same IP on which pattern is failed. Might be another IPs that's working fine, but that's is on single IP or the couple of IPs it's not working. Pick an IP from there and start debugging, right? So that's I did first step, right? Now, Vasant, you are asking what steps we have to be follow, how we are going to decide that, right? Now, that's data, as I mentioned, we are able to get the data here. Let me go to deeper, test step. Okay, now you can see we have 17 records here. Let me admit Sashi. So we have 17 record. What you will do if I need to be found this iTunes record value only means I know version is available here. I know vendor is available here. If you see, right, name is also I can see iTunes is there and I'm able to see the informations in these 17 records. I need to get that only single record as a output. In the next step, what should I do? Means generic behavior. What you will do in
Like
service now?
based on version or class or something, we will filter out and
Yes, exactly, right. So what is our next step now? I can write a next step. Let me close this and I will select a operation filter table because the output which we are getting there, we have 17 records. I need to be filter out the data. Okay. So and now the step name, you can put anything. You can put anything. Means I just put in filter or filter table or filter data. That's up to us. But what I'm always trying to follow, I will, follow that, naming conventions should be easy understandable by any other persons if I'm not available that time, right? So as I mentioned in the first, I put collect application name, vendor name and all. Second step, I put it the filter table, right? Now filter table, okay, sorry, my bad. Filter table. What is the source and target? How we are able to find out, right? The source is this because we have stored the data here, okay? Here it's target for, but for our next step, that's the source. And this is just a simple variable. We are not targeting or we are not saving our record in any specific table. Okay, this is just a variable. In the next target table, if I want to use the same variable, I can do that, or I can put any other variable. Example, I want to save the data in the next is temp variable. Okay, let me put like this. Now, what is the condition you are writing or filter conditions you will write? So, example, in simple words, what you will do while you are applying a filter conditions, you are putting a name or a attribute name, you are putting conditions that should be not empty or that should be contain this or that should be something this, right? So what that's I'm going to do this CMDB underscore. So that is in my variable. So I'm going to do CMD underscore C underscore APPL. Okay. I'm just simply doing this one and contains I name. I'm just going with the name. So I will type iTunes. Okay. Let's try this one first. Will this is able to filter out the record from that table? No. Now you can see again on the same second step when we are doing filter, we are getting the 17 records. I know what we are missing here, but yeah, let's do again, right? So we have to be specified. Here we are filtering out based on the table directly. Contains iTunes. We have not specified any attribute. So I am going to be specified the attribute. So where CMDB CI APPL and name contains iTunes, that record will be filtered out. Let's test this one now. See, so only just putting, that invert the brackets dot name, I'm able to filter out a record which contains name in tune or iTune. Okay, and we are able to see the vendor, the version, and the name itself. So that's my second step. As I mentioned, the target variable or the target table name, we have to be little thoughtful or mindful to configure if we are putting temp. that's little confusing, right? So instead of that, we can put any, uh, I can say genuine or reasoning word here as a target table. So what I'm going to do again, I'm going to use again CMDB CI APPL only, right? Because we are working on that type of table and we are fetching that information. Right now, let's test with that only. Until the time we are not fetching the output, means like this, means we are doing something incorrect. If we are able to get whatever output we are requesting or required and we are getting here, means that step is successful and we are able to do that. Now let me ask you, Vasant, again. Now we have filter output. Now we have output, or a single record what we want. Okay, from here we want values, the version value, the vendor value, or the name value. What will be our next step?
Um, so vendor value.
Example, I need to
So sh-
capture the name value first. Example.
okay, I saw set parameter. I didn't see something if there is any get parameter or
Right.
something.
Exactly. So,
Get
that this is something just like your Java scripting, right? So where you're
okay.
putting filter conditions, if else conditions, then printing, then out giving the output, and then utilizing somewhere else based on some functions and all, right? I'm not the expert of Java, but yeah, JavaScript, but yeah, I know that, process that side. So the same way we have to do the next option or next step is set parameter value. Right. Again, on the third step, I come here. That's all the, that operations is there. And if you see, that is for structure, that is for querying, that's for parse, that's for table operations, and that for others. Right. So what we are going to do, select set parameter value. Now, let me ask you in this step specifically, what will be my value and what will be my, or the where I need to be populate that value. Again, we have to go to the last step. So here we have configured this one, right? Which contains iTunes. Up now we have only one record available. I'm going to utilize this one, but here in the bracket I'm going to utilize number one. So what is number one is we are trying to fetch the number one attribute from this particular table. Means CMDB is my table, number one is that order of that one, and the name is the attribute. Okay, and where I have to be populate this one, I have to be populate this in the target. This is now my target. Or if I remove this one, example, I can go here, search for name, where it is, like, yeah, this one. I can pull it from here, but it's not coming correctly because I think it's not, there is some issue. It's not connected to the table, or might be, let me see name. It's not correctly basically. Basically, whenever we are pulling the data from here in the right hand side, that will comes in the same way. Let me put another way. No, it's not. I think I will see it in the next step, right? So basically, I have to be populate the same data, means using this particular value, whatever is coming here, I need to be populate on the CMDB CI APPL table. Let me open that one as well. Yeah, this one. So this is my here. It's already populating iTunes with this, and the name is show name, right? So name is attribute, table is CMDB APPL, right? I have to be populate this one. Let me go back to the pattern. Okay, now second thing, name is, if you see, name is already populated there. Okay, we just need to override. We just need to be put our specific name, right? So we have, as I mentioned already, we have temporary variables here. Just want to showcase you like, we can use whatever we want. I'm just trying to replace because already name is populated as iTunes at the rate host name of the machine, right? But I want in different way. Means your customer says, no, you don't want to be populate this one. Let me use this one. Okay. So what we can do, we can populate this one at the rate if we need to be concune joint two values or concatenate two values. What we have to use, we have to use plus inverted commas at the rate inverted commas close and then plus, and then we have to be pull the value. So management IP example. Now you can see the how values comes computer system dot management IP. Why? Because it's under the computer system. The value management IP comes under the computer system. The same thing we are doing, like CMDB CI number one attribute we are fetching and where the name, right? And why we put it at the rate? Because we want at the rate in between. If I don't want at the rate in between, I can remove the at the rate, and the value comes like if I go here, one moment, 192. Okay. So if I not put at the rate, the value is removed here, and this will comes like 192.11 dot something example, the IP. Why we are putting at the rate? So we can understand the Intune's application is running on at of this particular server. Earlier it's host name here. I just changed to IP, means my customer is saying instead of host name here, I need IP. With using the IP, it's easy to find out to me the value, right? And it's easy to find out that application is running on that IP instead of server, right? Server name we are not remembering. IP we are easy to able to remember, right? So what simply I do in the last step, I captured that value. Here in the computer variables, I captured this one and then putting to this particular target field. Right now, let's test this one. What is the value will coming? Okay, the output which we are looking, it's not coming. Okay, can someone tell me what is the issue? Just a small issue means because the name again. Here, if you go to Intune table field, if you right click, its name is in short words. Short words means small letters, right? So that's also matter whenever you are writing any target field or anything. You make sure the naming conventions, or you make sure about the what we called small letters, or that capital letters should be written correctly, right? So what we are doing here, CMDB CIPPL number one dot name plus this, and we are targeting to this field. Now let's test again. Again, it's not giving the what we are looking for, because the should be value should be coming. Let me close this one and let me remove. Okay, CMDB CI APPL number one dot name at the rate. Okay, let me remove this one moment. Let test. Okay, we are not getting. Let me close. No, I think there is some issue. We have missed something in the last step. Let's go back and check. We have configured the same CMDB CI APPL. Source field target is CMDB CI APPL. Any meet condition is CMDB CI APPL. Bracket dot name contains iTunes. Yes, that's correct. And here in the next step, okay, I got it. One moment. I'm just putting this one and just for TMP. And let me put again this one. Okay, let me test now. Okay, now you can see we are getting the output what we are looking for, TMP Intune @IP address. I hope you guys are following me, right? Why specifically I put TMP here means temp variable to get the output, because in the actual means whatever it is, right? So if earlier it is this one with the small letters. In the actual target field, we are not able to see what output we are getting here. So whenever we have to test this step, just need to be put in the target field temporary variable or any other variable to see the output. If again we are running, we are not able to get the same output here. Okay, I'm getting the only single result, which is for a filter condition, right? Or filter table one. But if I just remove this one again, let me remove and putting the temp, whatever I'm looking for, I'm able to see or get the as an output. Now, the first thing is getting the name. We are able to done that, right? What will be the next step? Now we have to be get the vendor information, right? So what will we do? The second step, as we have to get the name, again we have to be create is next step. But before that, it's let's put the step name is set application name. Next, again we have to be create a next step. I'm going to create next step. Okay, again parameter value we are going to utilize. This step is for vendor specific. So set vendor name. Again, the same thing we have to be follow. Example, I can copy this one. I can come here. Okay. Instead of name, we have to be populate the vendor, right? So I just put it vendor, and here, this one not required. Okay. Now, again, let's test this one first of all with the temp variable. Okay, in the temp variable, we are able to see the vendor is Apple Inc. Right? I think that's okay. We just missed to correct this one. Let me correct this one first. Otherwise, we'll face issue. Okay, now let's go to the next. Okay, now whatever we are looking for means vendor is Apple Inc. We are getting it. But again, customer requirement is when you are populating the vendor, here if I go here, there is no field specific related to vendor. First thing, the description is only the field where you can populate your vendor or any other field, right? But version you cannot populate, only the version is specific is there. TCP port is something related to that. So customer says populate vendor information on the short description field. Okay, and also customer says in, with that in a vendor name, I need to be populate the application or application name itself, right? The same way what we have to do, plus inverted commas. Okay, one moment. In inverted, why it's not taking the inverted commas directly? Okay, inverted commas, then inverted commas band, then plus, and then CMDB CIAPPL name, the same value which we are utilized earlier. Like, so again, I'm going to copy this one, this here, and I'm going to put the name. So what we are going to do, like I want Name should be, oh sorry, vendor name should be populate with the name as well in the target field. As of now, we are again testing in the temp variable. Let's see what will be changed it is. And make sure whenever you are writing the pattern, whenever you are doing anything, every step you just test it successfully, means the whatever value you are looking for, it's coming or not, right? So you have to the same thing. Now, if you see again, let me test again one moment. Here, if you see inc, Apple inc dot, and there is no space between dot or iTunes, right? If you want to put the space, means that's the requirement. You can come here in between inverted commas and put the space. Okay. If you want to put at the rate, you can do the same thing, right? Let me do the same again, the test. So whenever you done any changes, just test whatever the result or whatever output you are looking for, you are getting or not. Now you can see the space is there. Okay, this is just same like, whenever you are writing a business rule or a code on the development instance and you are running multiple times to check the exact output you are looking is coming or not, right? Now we are able to populate the vendor. What should I do? Means now we have to be, what is the next step? The next step is to populate the version, right? So I'm going to create a, okay, first of all, let's fix this. Okay, and where I need to be populate this one, if anyone remember, in the short description. So I'm going to be copy short description from here. Okay. Okay, and instead of this, I just need to be populate this. Make sure dot number one, these things you are following properly. If I just remove number one, see, okay, you will get the another results immediately, right? So make sure you are following properly. I'm just putting this one, and again let me go to the next step, and the next step is the version. Again, I'm going to set parameter value, and I'm going to be copy this one. Now, one more thing, guys, might be you are little confused, or might be you're thinking why Ajay is only changing this particular value here, right? You are not able to understand from where that value is coming for version and all, right? So let me go and showcase you one more thing, version. Okay, every value means this one or this one or this one, whatever I put it as a value, coming from the filter table attribute. If I test it here again, let me show you once again. I am capturing this one. Version is V capital here. That's why I put it V. Vendor is V capital here in the vendor, and the name is name capital. So that's my output. That's my, value basically. CMDB CI APPL, why I'm using? Because here in the CMDB CI APPL is my target value, means where the target variable I have captured. So that's why every time I'm using CMDB CI APPL variable, inside that variable, number one value with the name, right? The same way number one value with the vendor. And next step is same way number one value with the version. That's I'm capturing. Okay. So again, I'm going to test this one. I'm going to get the value version in the temp variable. What should I do? I need to be populate in the correct one. Or you can also see in the results as well. Here in the name, it's already populated now. Short description, it's already populated iTunes INC. Let me go to version. Okay, now again, I can go here. Okay, I can click array khul ja. Version. That's it. I'm coming here. I'm typing this and utilizing the same. Okay, and again dot version. So CMDB CI APPL number one dot version. Again, I can test it. It will give the that same output. The earlier one, not that version one, this one. Okay, that's done. Means we are able to get the filtered. First, we have done collect application name through the WMI query. Then we have filter out the data. Then we have set the application. So Vasant, these are the steps. Means it's only 5 steps which we have done it here, right? But if we need multiple value, multiple data, multiple things, right? In that case, we have to write multiple steps. Now let's do one more thing, which is not having here. Let's create one more. That parameter value. Okay, now if I go to this filter table and run it, okay, namespace is there, pro number 15. Okay, example, we have a, okay, it's nothing, the value is nothing like, which I can populate. But example, in the last step, customer says, I need one more attribute, or it says, I need value from something different. Means here what we run, we goes to Windows 32 product table, right? Again, customer is saying, I need something. Again, you can write WMI query, you can get the data. Let me come this one first. Okay, now root sim v2. Now it's going for the table. If you remember last time, it's not working, and that's why I directly put this statement here, right? But yeah, let's see if this time it's working and populating the complete table name for this. And meanwhile, it's going on. Can someone tell me, let's take an example, or let's think like, my step is completed. Whatever I want, I am getting the output. What should I do next? I hope, guys, you are able to hear me.
You, should we save and publish the pattern, or
Yes, right. I'm just canceling this one. It's because it's taking more time, right? So I'm removing this particular step. Okay, let me done this one. Yeah. So what should we do? We have to save. Once you saved it, automatically publish will be populate. And now what is the next step? Okay. The next step is always to sync pattern with the mid server. Okay. So I am typing iTunes here. There are two ways to do that, the sync pattern with the mid server. I can click here and I can move it or synchronize with the mid server from the pattern table itself. Okay. And the second option is I can navigate to Windows mid server. Okay. And where it is, yeah, here I can select the mid server and pattern sync to mid. Using this one, you can sync all the pattern in a single go because you are not selecting the pattern, you are selecting the mid servers, right? Or using the pattern one, you are selecting the patterns, how many patterns you want to sync with the mid servers, right? So both have different uses, but you can do from anywhere. Now the next step is to run the discovery to see the output we are if we are getting correctly or not, right? As of now, if I just quickly refresh this one, leave page, the values is this. Version is blank, description is blank, right? Now let's go to the discovery schedule. And meanwhile, guys, I'm running the discovery. Do you have any questions in that one? Because that is the something, you know, I definitely agreed you cannot get in or get understand in a single class, but you have to do lots of hand practicing to understand, to go through with couple of patterns and configure couple of patterns at your side. So meanwhile it's going on, if you have any questions, anything, feel free to ask.
So Ajay, you have
Yeah.
put in the brackets one right slash of one because we are
Yes.
getting one record in the filter table. If we get multiple records, or is
That's
there
it.
any scenario like that?
No, no, that's why I'm saying to get one record in the table, what I did, first of all, I did filter table operation.
Yeah.
Okay, I got 17 record as an output in the first one, right? Then I applied the filter table. The number one which I used in the brackets, in the square brackets, right? That is for to capture the number one value of the the attribute, the name attribute or the version attribute. That is for that only. Instead of I can put star as well, right? To capture anything means contains. So if you remember when you filtering, we are applying a filter conditions, you are putting contains, you are putting, name equals to name something, right? The same conditions we can utilize, the same type of filter conditions we can utilize there. If I can put the star as well, that works as a contains. I can put the number one as well, that contains the number one value of that one, the same thing. So number one is for that purpose.
So Ajay means out of 17, you are taking the only one record, right? Is it correct?
You are still confused. You are still confused, right? So
Mhm.
meanwhile, let's I can show you here in this step. If you remember what we are getting, I need to go to debug mode. Okay, it's on.
17
Okay,
records you are getting.
we are getting 17 records. Okay, let me show you once again. Meanwhile, the discovery is going on. Okay, we are getting 17 records. So as Vasant mentioned, or you guys know, if we are getting multiple records and if we have to filter out, what we have to do? Means simple thing is if I am here, okay, I get 180 records. Now my requirement is to be where the OS version. So what should I do? I will go here and type OS version and this. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm going to like this, right? What I'm going to put start with, end with, contains or whatever, right? So let me put start with. I'm getting 13 record. If I put filter contains 13, there is nothing changed, right? But we have to be little thoughtful. Can be possibility if we are putting contains here that these particular things will be there as well, means in couple of other records, right? So when we are putting filter conditions, what we are doing, we are always trying to find a unique value, right? What will be the unique in all those 17 records or all these records which we can utilize. The same thing which I did here, if you see the name, right? The name is iTunes is there. but in all other 17 records, there is nothing, right? The name is not iTunes. The same thing I did. First of all, I filter out the data. So this earlier in this tab, I stored my data in this variable CMDB CI APPL. Don't be confused, right? So I stored data in this table, and the next one, I use this as a source table because from where I'm getting the data. Now again, I put this data in the same target table CMDB CI APPL and put the condition CMDB CI APPL brackets dot name. It's just like okay, what I'm trying to say, it means that's my table, the source table, and that's my name, where name contains iTunes. I put that conditions, and from all 17 records, I'm getting as a filter out one record, which where the name is iTunes. Okay.
Got
Here,
it, Ajay. Yeah.
once I get the output, I put to manage or populate that data to target table. So here, this is my, again, CMDB CI APPL is my table where I store the data here, okay, in the target table based on the filter conditions, and the name is my attribute, the value from the last filter table record. And also I have added at the rate computer system management IP to populate as a value, but where the values need to be populated on this particular field means CMDB CI APPL means CMDB CI APPL dot name field. Here I need to be populate that value. Get it? So that's why I just put
Yeah.
it in this way, and I just
Got it, Ajay.
follow all the things. Okay, now
So
let's
means
see.
whenever we
Mhm.
are doing the filter, we will take uh, the different value. Means right now in our scenario, in the name, we have only one record which contains iTunes. So we have taken the filter condition as name contains iTunes. Is it correct?
Yeah, definitely right.
Yeah. Okay.
But we can use anything
Yeah, understood. Yeah.
based on the unique identifier, right? So now
Yeah.
you can guys see that is done. Okay, and my discovery is completed. My pattern is also triggered. If you see exploring CI pattern name is iTunes process ID 6752. Check this. Now let's see the pattern information first of all, right? So you can see here, you can see right. So it's these are the out of the box horizontal patterns, but whatever we have written, collect application name, collect filter table, set application name, set vendor, set version, all is the green, right? If you see collect application name, simple, executing WMI query on host this, namespace this, query is this, right? Whatever we have written in the pattern, I can see the results here. Okay, now query result is this. Okay, then the max size reach maximum size of limit to adjust the mid property. Now what we are getting when we are running this particular, what they are saying, we are when you are running this particular query, you are getting these results. If you remember, we are getting 17 results, right? So all 17 results is not visible here, but to to increase the size of it means if you want to see all the results here, you can go and increase the property of mid.sm disco log.max object size. That is a property in the mid server itself. You can increase it, right? So if I go to mid server quickly, just to showcase you guys, so means you when you are following the patterns output and the results, you have little bit, yeah, here you can go to this. That property name is, here it is. Okay, mid.sm.disco log. Mid.sm. Let me type once again. Might be it's not there. Mid.s. Okay, one moment. Mid.sm. No, only SA is there. So I think we can create the property from a different way. If that's out of the box, not a parameter is there. I can come here, I can go here, I can put the property, the copying, where it is, yeah, this. Okay, I can put the property, the out of the box value they also mentioned, right? So out of the box value is 1000 limit, the maximum limit, right? If we want to see all means more records, I can to put 10,000 as well, right? On the same mid server. Let's save this. I think this is not required. Okay, so sometimes when you are referring the logs, you must have to check those informations. Then filter table. So what is the filter table attribute we have done? We are able to see that an execution done is 1 milliseconds. Then application name. So whenever we are setting the application names, that is there. Then set vendor name, we are getting this one, Apple Indians, right? So everything, all my 5 steps is successfully done and all have is green, right? Then creating CI and these payload check and all things will be happening to, for identification things and all of the things basically, right? But if I come here and refresh this, you can see my name, my version, and my description is updated. And that's the, value, or you can say, that's we are doing automations. Means now we have created one pattern for iTunes, and if iTunes is available in any other, machine, any device, if iTunes application is running, automatically that will be discoverable and record will be created in application table and these values will be populated. Okay, any questions now, guys, in the custom pattern creation for application?
I see one basic doubt here. Can you go to
Mhm.
that identification, iTunes identification?
This one?
So yeah, here in the filter table, on the
Mm-hmm.
steps, second operation, why is that
Mm-hmm.
source table and the target table same? Like,
No, that's, it's not same. Just one thing, simple thing. When you are writing a business rule, example,
mhm,
when you are writing a business rule, you can use variables you are using, right?
mhm.
Right. And you can utilize the same variable in multiple times or not. You can utilize,
Okay,
right?
yeah,
The same thing is here. It's a variable. Source and target is the same. That's my, I can put target table is example. I can put the target table here. TM, let me put my name, tech track with AJ. Okay. But every
okay.
means example, if I'm using this one as a target table in the set application name operation, what I should do, simple thing I need to do, I need to remove this one CMDB CIPPL with tech track with AJ. Simple, that's it, nothing else.
Okay, we are saving that value in that variable kind of, and we are
Right.
using that.
That variable as a value, right? So here means that's why I'm saying in the first step, the target table to get all 17 record is CMDB CIPPL. Okay.
Mhm,
In the
mhm,
next step
yeah.
itself, what I did the same thing. Means the source table is where 17 record available is this one, and I again put the same target table. Means the same CMDB CIPPL table as a target table, but it's up to me what I
Okay,
want to
okay.
use as a target table. But here on the variable side, you can do anything. Whenever you are using the set application name or vendor name and all. Now let me populate this one. This one means value is from coming from the filter table field, right? But the name one where you have to be populate the value, exact value, this one that comes from this specific, that comes from this specific application table name, version, and description. You just need to be little careful for that. This is not the variables. Here,
Okay,
the variable is we are just populating the value name from this one to this. That's why we are just putting in that way.
okay.
Okay. So It just up to me. If I use track with AJ or any other value, I just need to be update this one and pattern will be working as it's working. You can try it as well.
Okay. Okay. Ajay, yeah, and then one more thing, you have already explained this, but on the left side we have the CA attributes, generate payload and everything, right? Like the temporary variables and everything. So,
Yes, yes, right.
yeah, can you explain one more time what are those and where are we? Like, what is the temporary
Yeah.
variables?
Okay. So, example, uh, 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 have you seen, means when you log into a virtual machine or Windows server, once you log in automatically a screen pop up with the informations. Okay, this is the RAM, this is the hard disk, this is the host name, this is the IP
Mm-hmm.
in some of the
Yeah.
servers, right? The same thing is there. Means when you connected, means debug mode is just a making a connection with that particular machine or particular device which you want to discover. Okay, so when you go to debug mode and connect it to that machine, the basic informations of that machines comes and stored as a temporary variable. Means what is the OS family is Windows, OS type is proprietary, OS name is this, management IP is this. Means these are some variables which is collected by when you go to in debug mode by the ServiceNow mid server and populated as a variables. The same way entry point. What is the entry point? What is the category? Now process is where that Intune application is running. Where is the executable path of it? The same path which you are able to see here, you are able to see in the Windows server as well. Where it is, yeah, here. See the same path. See program files Intune, Intune.exe, right? Same is available here. So that couple of information is fetched it on the fly when you connect it to that particular machine. If you want to check, if you want to refer it, and if you want to utilize that variables in your pattern, you can utilize it. Simple. That's it. And that's apply
Okay.
for every machine which you are going to debug mode based on that
Okay.
information. Right. So, what is these are the basic information. Means management IP is the field. Okay. Every time when you are connecting to any machine or any debug mode, management IP will be there, but IP can be different, means value can be different, but field will be the same always. Right. So you
Okay.
can utilize as a variable. That's the information only coming stored. Like PID, present process ID, executable directory, environmental variables is also there, couple of, right? So this is just a basic informations if you want to utilize in your pattern as a temporary things for specified machine. That's it.
Okay. Okay, Ajay,
And
got it.
the,
Yeah.
and these are the fields of this particular table, application table, where it is. Yeah. Hmm. If you're a little confused, you can check these particular fields here. Don't want to go to that particular table, right? And if you see here, if where it is, yeah, coming, yeah, here. See, the name is populated, short description is populated. I think vendor is not there, version is not populated, might be it's not refreshed, but yeah. So it's everything will be, means if value is coming here, once you test it and publish it and save it, value is coming here, it means value should be populating on your through the discovery patterns to your application as well. That's verifying that's correct, means you did the correct job. If value is not coming here and you are not getting the output in the temp variable, it means there is some issue, there is some something you are missing. That's why it's not populating. So every time, every step, you have to be tested properly. Make sure writing the step, testing whatever the output you're looking for, you are getting or not, and then you are putting to the target table attribute field only.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Any other
Yeah.
questions from anyone else? Okay, I think if no questions, guys, I think we are on the time already. So I will wrap up the session now. But tomorrow again we have one more, pattern again, pattern session again, custom pattern design, where we are designing the extension section of a pattern, right? So we'll discuss a scenario, we'll discuss a use case when we write an extension section for that particular ones. Okay. So till that time, guys, I think I'm good. If you don't have any questions, till that time, have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time.
Yeah. Thank you, Ajay.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.